Mr. President, we've heard remarks at the beginning of this session and just now towards the end of our order of business, and I feel like I need to respond to a few of the things that have been mentioned. My colleague from Harrison was talking about the two-party system and our founding fathers and how they saw fit for our government to have two distinct perspectives. And while I don't think that he characterized those two distinct perspectives accurately, I think he is correct that they are distinct and different. And this system that our founding fathers created, I believe, is the greatest system in the world. And we have a system of elections whereby the people have a voice and get to choose their representatives to represent them here in Charleston, to make decisions on their behalf as they best see fit. And for a long time, Mr. President, we had one direction this state was going in. And the people of this state spoke loud and clear with their vote and said that we're not happy with the direction this state is going in. We want new representatives to take this state in a new direction. And that's exactly what happened. Now, while we might not agree with my colleagues on the other side of the aisle about the direction, there's no question that the voters of this state felt like they lacked opportunity to stay here and to prosper. And the actions that we've taken over the course of the last 4 years have been to keep taxes low, to decrease regulation, to get government out of the way of the people so that the people can prosper and have job opportunities. With lower taxes, people can invest in small businesses, hire other people, create opportunities of their own for the people within their community. We saw fit to reform education in a way to offer new job training. You, Mr. President, led that charge to have free tuition for community and technical colleges for all West Virginia citizens so they can be trained and be a trained workforce, so when those job opportunities are there, they can take advantage of those. This is the new direction that the people of West Virginia asked for. And I think we're doing our jobs by following through on what they asked of us. Not only did they ask us to take them in a new direction, they asked us to take careful consideration of every piece of legislation, no matter the political pressure from any group. And the political pressures, Mr. President, as you know and everybody in this room knows, have never been greater than they are right now. As some of my colleagues have said, everybody in this room wants to do the right thing. There's just differences of opinion of how to get there. Earlier in this session, a comment was made that the Senate is the reason that teachers aren't back in school today, that we didn't stay around last night to take up the message. The fact of the matter is, Mr. President, as you know, and anybody who's been in this majority leader's position should know, that message was not received last night. We received that this morning. We could have stayed here till midnight, and that message would have never been received. It was said earlier that some of these bills that have concerned our teachers were passed out of the Senate. The fact is, Mr. President, they were never passed out of the Senate. They've never seen the light of day on a committee agenda. That statement is just false. There's no accuracy to it. And this Senate floor, I feel, has been used far too many times to incite anger and fan the flames of concern amongst our public employees. It was suggested earlier today that everyone in the state should take off work, come here to tell us to do our jobs. Mr. President, our job is to take careful consideration of every piece of legislation, particularly when that piece of legislation is going to appropriate the taxpayers' dollars. These are dollars that the taxpayers of all over West Virginia have entrusted us to spend wisely. So who in their right mind would want us to come down here without any consideration, spend millions of the taxpayers' dollars? That, Mr. President, would be a derelict of our duty. Mr. President, as it was stated by you earlier today, we are fulfilling our duty by careful consideration of this piece of legislation through the committee process. We have analysts, we have some of the best analysts in the state, carefully analyzing every piece of our budget as we speak. And they're going to continue to do that through the rest of this day until we reach a point where we feel comfortable with the numbers that have been sent up to us from the governor's office. And when we feel confident that these numbers have some sort of legitimacy, then we can rightfully act on that piece of legislation. But not before then, Mr. President. Thank you.